Broadcasting from the Keep Moving Forward Creator Studios, it's time for the Athletes of the Titan Games podcast. This limited release show features the stories of the 2019 contestants of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's athletic competition, NBC's The Titan Games. Now here's your host, Katie Galley.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the Athletes of the Titan Games podcast. I'm your host, Katie Galley. In the Keep Moving Forward Creator Studio with me today, I have Titan Games athlete and student at Northern Illinois University, Covenant Falana. How are you doing, Covenant?
I'm doing great, Katie. How are you doing?
I am doing awesome. Thanks so much for stopping by and sharing your story with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. All right, so just to kick things off, I wonder if you could just share a little bit about where you grew up and how, if at all, your childhood was shaped by athletics.
I grew up in Nigeria, in West Africa, Nigeria, and that's where I spent the first 14 years of my life. And growing up, athletics is not something that's common in my community, at least. We're more concerned about where the next food is going to come from, or if we're going to be able to get clean water to drink this week.
Wow. So
more concerned about that than sports.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. So you growing up in Nigeria, then up until you were 14 years old. So when you were 14, then you moved ultimately to the U.S.?
To the U.S., yes.
What was that transition like? I mean, growing up for 14 years in one country and then at 14 moving to someplace entirely new and different. What was that transition like for you?
It was interesting because it's a bit of joy and sadness in the same mix. Because we're excited because I didn't live with my parents. So my parents were the first one to come to America, and they came when I was 7, and then I joined them when I was 14. So I didn't live with them for the second half of the 14 years when I was in Nigeria. So I was kind of excited to come to America to meet my parents finally. And to also see, because we've seen American movies and we know, I watched High School Musical a million times, and that gives me a decent perspective of what America is like. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited. I was excited coming to America to just experience that for the first time. But then I'm also coming to a different culture, to a different lifestyle that I'm not familiar with. And that alone, it's a stress on its own because we're living everything. I was living everything that I know from school, from family. We only packed like a box. So clothes.
Wow.
It's just like we're doing your whole life all in this little box and coming to a country, to a life that you've only seen on TV. So it's a very interesting experience.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Man, that's crazy. But then having that opportunity then to finally rejoin with your parents and I guess start a new life together at the age of 14, but being reunited with your family.
Yes, that was the highlight of the whole thing, because my parents were able to come home, but they would only come like 1 week, and they would have to come back to America. So they were only able to see him for a week. We didn't even get to see my mom once. My dad came more often than my mom did. Wow. And when they came, actually, they had 2 kids in America, and we got to meet those kids too. So I had siblings that I didn't meet for 7 years. So that was a whole new thing on its own too. So getting to know these little people that's supposed to be your siblings, and they've had a totally different life than you did. Wow. And life that I had, they would never understand because they didn't get to experience the things that I experienced. So it was fun.
Yeah, I mean, that's incredibly interesting having 2 siblings that have only known one life, and you now have 2 different lifestyles, 2 growing up in a different country completely and then moving and knowing what it's like to acclimate and learn a new culture and just being diving into this new culture. So growing up then with 2 younger siblings, well, I mean, that only had that view of knowing what growing up in the U.S. was like. Was that, as an older brother, was that challenging for you? Was it, just a new adventure when you finally came over and were able to spend more time with them?
So it was like it's a two-way street for them because it was more understanding them because they do some things that was weird that I thought was weird. It's like or like waking up in the. I remember my brother Israel. It was still when we came over. It was I think 5, 6 at that time, and it would just ask for juice, and my mom would just go get juice. And I'm like juice. Like for me to get juice in Nigeria, we have to go buy it, and it's juice is what the adults drink because they were the only ones that had the money to afford it. So like it was something just as little as juice, and I was thinking like this kid has been drinking juice all his life, and now I'm getting to drink juice really without having to like go buy it by myself. It's just fun. Oh, also like the electricity that we have because in Nigeria, we didn't have any electricity. We didn't have much electricity. We have to get we used oil lamp. I remember I had to sleep in my room with oil lamp on all night, and the electricity is always on in America, and my little sister cannot sleep without the light on. And I'm like, I would sleep. I just need just a little light, just a little lantern to fall asleep. I don't need a big light to sleep. But that's also one of those experiences that's just like totally different. But also they also had to like, because they were little, so it was more like, oh, that's my brother. My brother is here finally.
Oh.
But for me, it was more like, you guys have been enjoying this all your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that must have been very challenging. I mean, of course, you were happy to have younger siblings, but just to seeing the differences, the challenges that you had when you were little growing up, and then seeing just the differences in culture, what they had and what you lacked, I guess, too.
Oh yeah, it's a big difference. It's a big difference. Or something as walking to school. I had to walk to school all the way through because I did a little bit of high school in Nigeria, and I like it was almost like 3 miles and walking to school every day, walk back, rain or shine. And the kids don't have to do that. They just get on the bus or my mom drops them off. I'm like, you guys never get to enjoy the fun of walking in the rain with your backpack soaked and your uniform soaked, and as you have to come back home, dry it off before doing homework.
Oh, man,
it's a fun experience.
That's crazy though, and it gives such perspective into such differences in one family having those vast differences. And so when you did, I mean, within your family, obviously there was so much change, but then when you had to start going to school, so you came to the U.S. and you started going to high school, then what was that process like for you, starting a new school, meeting new people?
It was exciting. I was excited, but I was more nervous because I didn't know what the people was gonna be like. It's different watching it on TV and actually living the life you see. And my first couple of semesters were rough in high school, but it got easier as I began to learn more of the culture, and as I got to know more people and talk to more people, it got easier. But I remember my first year, I didn't even say a word because I was nervous. Like, okay, what am I saying? Am I pronouncing this word right? We didn't understand what I'm saying. Is my accent too thick? All of that was going through my head at the same time. But also, I was excited to be sitting next to a white girl and a Black American girl that are the people that I see on TV all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was fun. Everything was just fun.
Yeah.
Because there's, even though they're hard experiences, there's always something that a person that learns from, like find something to learn through it.
Yeah.
And even though that it didn't seem fun at the time, but now looking back at it, I'm glad I experienced that because that gives me a unique perspective on everything that goes on around me. So.
Yeah, I mean, really, and the fact that you can look. Of course, it was so challenging for you to enter into this new environment at an older age, but then having that perspective now, and even at that time, realizing, okay, this is what I'm gonna have to do. I am excited to be here. I'm gonna, acclimate. I'm gonna learn, and it's making the most of those experiences and looking at them from a positive light, and that's just an incredible perspective to have.
Oh yeah, it's just like thinking of everything as an opportunity, not just like, oh, it's hard, but it's still an opportunity to grow and to experience new things. And yeah, that's America is just a big giant bowl of opportunity for me, and I'm here to take advantage of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. And so when you did you started taking classes, you said that first year was really difficult, though you hardly spoke a word. You were nervous to speak. So was there anything, did you join a club or join a team that maybe helped you come out of your shell more, or was it just over time in high school having those experiences and getting exposed to different people and different things that really helped you grow?
Yeah, so it was getting exposed to different things and seeing different people.
Yeah.
I loved watching sports, especially like American sports, because of the morale.
Mm-hmm.
I just love the way the team just comes together, and that's something that I saw in high school about the football guys and now the jocks and how they would just come together. And I went to like 3 football games, and in my freshman year in high school, and I loved it all. It was a blast, and I've always hoped that one day, because I was small, I was like skinny, and talking about skinniest African kid you can think of. If you Google skinny African kids, my picture should be number one. And I always hoped, I'm like, I wish I was born in America because I could do something like that. I've always I know if I had the opportunity to, I can play football, I can play basketball, but I was not the right size for it. And I wouldn't even understand the sport in high school, even if I was put in a team. So I always looked to that, and I'm like, one day I'll get it. One day it's gonna happen. And this happened all through high school, because I didn't start working out or training until like a month right after I graduated high school.
Wow.
So,
and
I was just,
what made you want to start working out after high school?
it was just that experience that I'm like, okay, now because in high school, like I feel like people see you, like if you meet someone for the first time, I feel like in school, the image you portray, that's what like first impressions, that's what they're gonna carry with them for the longest time. And in high school, I was just the African kid that just came to America. So that image was with me throughout high school, right?
Yeah.
And then right after I graduated, I'm like, you know what? Time for a major life change. Time to change things up a bit. And then that was what propelled me to start training and start working out. But that whole experience, especially, it was really the football guys, because I adored them. I adored their athleticism. I liked the way they carried their backpacks and their big jackets. And yeah, I loved all of that, and I wanted to be part of it too. So that was probably my first motivation to start training.
I love that, and seeing something like a sport, watching them play, and thinking I wanna be like that, and having that inspire you and motivate you to take that next step. That really is awesome, and it's cool because you can see that across different sports and just anything in life in general. You see one thing that inspires you, and that's what it's gonna take. It might be a random thing, but just that thing is what's gonna push you to keep going. And so from when you did graduate high school, then did you always have an aspiration to go to the next level as far as going to college and furthering your education? How did Northern Illinois University come up?
Yeah, so right after high school, I joined a community college first.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was still trying to figure out my way to what I want to major in. But education is always important, especially in my family. And that's something that my dad stressed coming from America. They're like, he said it multiple times. He said, if I don't do anything else for you again in the world, I've brought you to a land of opportunity. And the best way, the first step in taking advantage of that opportunity is getting an education. And the first big family meeting we had coming to America, that was what my dad said. And that has been with me. So that has always been the drive to always further, at least further my education to a university level. So that has always been the plan from the start.
Yeah.
And I went to community college, and then NIU was the best option, and there I am.
That's awesome. And so do you, what are you currently studying?
Studying business management at this time, yes.
Awesome. And so do you, I know you're still early on in your career, do you have an idea of where you want to go with this, with your major?
Yes. I would love to run my own restaurant one day.
Oh, I love that.
And this is just from my own personal struggles, because in Nigeria, we didn't have much to eat. And I feel like even with the restaurants and food is available everywhere, but it's people that don't have much to eat cannot afford those foods. And that's the problem. Like, it's not because there's scarce of food, it's because people cannot afford them, especially good food. So I hope to run a restaurant one day that's going to provide good food, good healthy meals for people at a lower price that people would be able to, like regular people, normal people that can have much, would be able to afford. Just think about it like a McDonald's, like a healthy McDonald's for people.
Yeah.
And that's what I hope to achieve one day.
I really like that. And drawing on your own personal experiences to help propel you forward. That's what's shaping you. That's what did shape you and is continuing to do so. And it's going to, take the form of whatever goals and passions that you have throughout the rest of your life.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And so, you have this incredible journey you're on of furthering your education at Northern Illinois, and you found fitness after high school, really being inspired by watching those football players play. So how did then your fitness journey continue to grow, and how has it ultimately ended you up as a contestant on this season's Titan Games?
So I'm going to start from the beginning. My mom was the first person that joined the gym.
Okay.
And I went with her that day, like the second week of her joining the gym. And she had a trainer, and the trainer saw me, and the trainer was like, "Oh, you could be really good at this. If you work hard, you can be really good." And I had a feeling that it was trying to sell me a membership or it being nice. I'm not sure which one it was. But after I talked to him, it was like, okay, so it gave me one day of free training. And we trained together, and that was it. That was the spark, and I got addicted to it. And I would come in every week, and the pursuit is just It's just to chase perfection, to get better constantly, and that was what the guy said. He said, "No one is perfect, but you can always pursue that, and always strive to achieve that."
Yeah.
And then in striving to achieve that, you'll get as close to it as possible. And that's what my fitness journey has been like. I've always tried to do better than I did yesterday, at least try at it. And I just kept doing what I was doing, and Titan Games opportunity came on TV. And it's not because I was confident enough to do it. I was just like, probably wouldn't pick me. And it doesn't hurt just gonna fill in a few, type in a few things, fill in some words on application. No big deal. And thirdly, it is a big deal.
Man, that's so funny. So you saw the commercial one day advertising for the Titan Games, and you thought, why not? And you just went for it?
Yeah. I was watching Jimmy Fallon, actually, and The Rock came on, and he talked about it. And my brother was sitting next to me, and I Googled it, and they were like, you have to turn in a workout video. I told my brother, I'm like, I know they probably wouldn't choose me for this, but can you please record a gym video for me? I'm like, said no. Like, but I said I have to pay him first. So I gave him $5 right there. And we waited till my parents fall asleep. And because I didn't want to go to the gym and start recording videos in like broad daylight. So my gym is 24-hour gym.
Okay.
So I waited till my parents fall asleep. And I woke him up at 1 o'clock in the morning. Then we went to the gym at 1 o'clock. I took a pre-workout, and we worked out for 3 hours.
Oh, my gosh.
That night. And we had school in the morning. And I paid him $5 and I recorded the whole thing. It was so nice. He recorded the whole thing.
Man.
And we come back home. We came back home. I couldn't sleep. I was up all night, so I edited the video that night. And I texted my girlfriend. I told her what I had done. Said, okay, well, we can't come back now, so we're gonna have to fill out the application. So I went over and she helped me out with filling out all the application. And yeah, the rest is history.
Yeah, apparently so. That's so cool that you just decided you wanted to do it, and I love that, shooting at 1:00 in the morning, shooting a 3-hour video.
Yeah, if I had thought about it, I would have been like, nah,
Right.
maybe not. But it was just that moment, and it was just the perfect timing that I'm just like, you know what, I'm gonna do this right now.
Yeah.
And I did it. Like if I had waited a week, it probably wouldn't have happened.
Yeah. And so why, sitting on your couch watching that commercial, why did it spark within you the desire why did that become a goal? Why did becoming a guest or a contestant on the Titan Games, why watching that commercial, why did it inspire within you to go after it and make that video and finish that application?
I've always loved The Rock,
Yeah.
and I loved what it stands for, personality, the way he portrays himself. So that was a big motivation to just do that.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh wait, The Rock is finally doing something like this. I feel like I'm capable to do it. So
Yeah.
why not? And that was it. Really, there was no like open evidence or anything. It's literally just like, oh, I like The Rock.
Yeah.
And my brother's my film for me, so let's just give it a shot.
Yeah.
And that was it.
And I think, again, going back to how you've been, inspired by your own experiences and culture, and inspired by a football team, inspired by people in your life, The Rock did that for you too. So you saw he created this competition show and you're like, yeah, I'm going all in. I love what he stands for. I love his mission. I love what he does. And so it's a no-brainer. I'm going to go after it. It's aligned with your own mission, your own goals. So just, again, I love what you said. I feel like I'm capable, so why not? That's great. And that's what it takes. You have to be a little bit crazy. You have to go after just full force to do it.
Yeah. Because if you take a moment to think about it, you might second guess yourself.
Exactly.
I feel like those things, like something as crazy as applying for a TV show, or like doing anything really, it takes a little bit of craziness and a little bit of just like zoning out for just that one perfect second that you would do it regardless of the circumstances. Because if I thought about, like, if I waited a week, like I said, if I thought about, I can literally outthink myself out of something that can be good for me, and it goes to everything.
Yeah.
You know, like it's so possible to outthink yourself out of things you're capable of. But once you get to that moment and you can just like zone out and just go for it, great things can actually happen.
Oh, yeah. I love that. I completely agree. It's because you are your own worst enemy in those moments. And it's that, it's what's between your ears, that mental game that is, you can be physically capable all day long, but mentally, are you ready? Are you able to push past that self-doubt and just say yes?
That's right.
Love it. So with, this incredible experience that you've had and just, again, making the most of all of these opportunities and experiences that you've had with your specific experience on the Titan Games, I wonder, what would you say is your definition of a Titan, and how do you believe that your experience on the show will now carry over into the rest of your life?
Oh, wow. Okay, I'm going to say the definition of a Titan is someone that just keeps going and keeps moving forward regardless of what's going on around them.
Yeah.
And this is something that I saw on the show, that everyone had a story to them. And the physical abilities, everyone can do it. And in my application video, I said it. I'm like, I'm not going to do anything too impressive because I just started working out about 3 years ago. But I have a heart that can stretch for miles and miles. I have something in me that wouldn't let me to stop. I don't see anything as my privilege. I see everything as an opportunity to be better at it. So that quality, I think every Titan everyone that was on the show had in them, that made them that makes them special.
Yeah.
That that I would either knock me down, but I would get right back up again. I have a tough chin, or I've experienced this and I can experience it over again, and I wouldn't break a sweat. All of that is what shapes, as I believe, what shapes a Titan. And because you can't really have a victory without challenges. And every Titan on the show has experienced something that has knocked them down, and they got right back up again. So I feel like that's the definition of a Titan, is someone that just wouldn't stop. Win or lose, I'll be back.
Yes.
Knock me down, I'll be back. It doesn't matter what it is. You always come back. And it may, and some, for the Titans, for me, was grounded in the gym. You know, I'll always come back into the gym and put in my work. But for other people, it might be something else. It might be school. It might be studying. It might be singing. We're just lucky enough to feel like it's a fitness competition.
Yeah.
Everyone else, it was for everyone else, for everyone on the show. We had a story to us. We had an experience that knocked us down. We got right back up, and our anchor was always grounded in the gym work.
Yeah.
So that's my definition of what makes a Titan. And my experience on the show was fantastic. That was my first time being in LA, and I was just taking everything, and it was overwhelming, but it was also fun at the same time. Just to think that 7 years ago, I didn't know where my food is gonna come from. I didn't know if I was ever gonna see my parents again. To being on national TV, going to see The Rock, like that's so crazy to think about. That someone that's not prepared can be like, oh, like telling the story to someone else, which seem almost fake, but it's true. It's like a storybook that's written to just have a perfect story, you know?
Yeah.
Just to like, wait a second, I'm here in America. I'm not only in America, I'm in LA, like LA where they shoot the big movies. Like, wait a second, I'm about to meet The Rock, the wrestler guy. What? Is this true? Is this all happening right now? I had my phone out. I was recording everything because I didn't want to, and I was wide open. I didn't miss a single thing. That experience alone is something that I would cherish all my life, and I would tell it to anyone that's willing to listen. That it's not about how strong you are, how big you are. You just got to keep getting back up, and one day good things might happen, and then you might get to LA too.
Yes. Oh, that's so good. I love that. It's all positive, and everything that you came up against, everything you learned, you use that to fuel you forward. And I really love what you said, that a Titan is someone that just keeps moving forward regardless of what's around them. But you, drawing on your own past, your own experiences, you use those things. You reflect back and you're like, wow, 7 years ago, where was I? And look at where I am now. You have to use all of that to keep pushing you forward, and of course, keep aiming for bigger and better goals. But like you're saying, you never forget where you came from and how much progress you've actually made in this journey.
Yeah.
Man,
that's right.
That's awesome. I love that. And so, Covenant, I just have one final question that I ask all of my interviewees. With all of these truly incredible things that you've overcome in your life, and these obstacles and these goals that you've achieved and set for yourself, and looking forward, knowing that you still have so many left to achieve, and you have such a journey of success ahead of you. What do you want to be remembered for?
What do I want to be remembered for? I want to remember as someone that came from nothing and saw an opportunity to be better and was not afraid to go for it. And someone that, regardless of the negative experiences that he had, was still able to be kind to people. Someone that's authentic to his own and is is grounded in his own self, and is not ashamed of his experiences and things that he's had to overcome to be in the stage that he is right now.
Thank you all for tuning in to today's installment of the Athletes of the Titan Games podcast. To learn more about each of these Titan athletes, be sure to check out their information in the links in my show notes. Furthermore, to stay up to date on all things coming out of the Keep Moving Forward Creators Studio, be sure to subscribe to the Keep Moving Forward podcast iTunes channel and follow along on social media, also available in the show notes. As the creator of the Titan Games, Mr. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson says, "Titans aren't born, they're made." And I hope today's story helped you realize all that you are capable of becoming if you put in that hard work and just keep moving forward.